right, so welcome. We are Chris and Melissa Dyer, and we're here to share with you the Eb Stone Realty Annual Market Predictions Report for 2024. So before we begin, Chris, I thought it might be fun for us to just do a little review of how accurate you were in your 2023 market predictions.
I love it. Let's do it.
Okay, you up for the challenge?
I am up for the challenge.
Got it. Okay. Well, let's start. I have in my notes here that you predicted that home sales would decline last year.
I did say that, so I guess I was right. So home sales did decline last year. We had less transactions than the year prior. So yes, that was the case.
Okay, great. Moving on. I also see that you predicted that mortgage rates would stabilize. So how true is that prediction?
2 for 2. So yes, we did see that the rates were going to meet their peak and then start receding back down when the Fed said that inflation was in check, and that's what happened.
Okay. Now, you also noted that 2023 would be a season of price discovery. So what does that mean, and did we see that in the market?
So price discovery, by definition, is when sellers were looking backwards, thinking that their pricing was still as high as maybe it was in years prior, and buyers were dealing with price fatigue. They were exhausted by it and trying to find some middle ground. So once again, we got it right. We were 3 for 3.
All right, well, good scorecard there. Let's see, moving on. We want to know what we can expect for 2024. So let's get the conversation started on maybe a macro level. I see in my notes here you have your first prediction that housing inventory will increase.
So we've seen this trend slowly beginning in the middle of 2023, where we're starting to see more inventory come on the market than what we've seen in previous years.
Okay.
And we expect that to continue into 2024. And here's some numbers to support that. So single families are currently up 13% in Palm Beach and 18% in the Treasure Coast. Townhouse and condos are up 41% of active inventory in Palm Beach and 54% in the Treasure Coast. Another thing we look at is called absorption rate. So single families, current month's worth of supply. So if no new inventory came on the market, we have 4 months worth of inventory in Palm Beach for single families, and we have 3.6 months worth of inventory in the Treasure Coast. But pay attention to this. Townhouse and condo inventory, we're up to 4.9 months worth of supply in Palm Beach and 5.2 months in the Treasure Coast. And to just maybe share with you, a buyer's market by definition is when you have 5.5 to 6 months worth of inventory. So we are trending that way in 2024.
Okay, so that sounds very favorable for home buyers. And I see you're also predicting that interest rates will be good too. They're going to be favorable.
Yeah, I certainly think so. I think mortgage rates will probably settle in the low 6 to 6.5 range. And this is super important because the psychology of buying and selling is really tied to interest rates.
Okay.
There's a consumer confidence that comes with it. And to give you a sample of a couple forecasts from the players in the market, Fannie Mae believes that rates will be on average about 5.8%. Redfin is forecasting 6.6%. The Mortgage Bankers Association is forecasting 6.1%. The National Association of Realtors is forecasting 6.3%. And our Florida Realtor Association is forecasting 6%.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is we're going to have more options for buyers, and there's going to be greater affordability because interest rates are going to be low. So I like where we're headed with our predictions for 2024 so far. Let's get to your third prediction. And this is still in the macro space, so the big picture of what the market's going to do. In my notes, it says here you're stating that the volume of home sales will increase.
Exactly. So just to understand what that means, the volume is the number of transactions taking place, buyers and sellers happening. So we believe we will see more transactions than what we've seen in the previous 2 years in the marketplace. And this is due to lower rates, more options for buyers, and more incentives being provided by sellers and home builders. And to put this in perspective, we saw appreciation in Palm Beach during the COVID years, 2021, 2022, between 20 and 25% on average. So we believe this. Transactions will be going up, but prices will be flattening out for single family homes. But we believe there'll be a pullback on condos somewhere into 1 to 3% range, but I know we're going to get to condos later.
Yes. Okay. So, so moving from like that big picture macro perspective, we're going to talk about maybe some more specific predictions that I'm reading here. So moving away, let's just talk about Airbnbs first. I see you're saying that the Airbnb purchase market will be drying up in 2024.
So Airbnbs aren't going away, but the number of buyers looking for Airbnbs is what we're referring to here. Here's what we saw. The trend began during COVID. People were gobbling up real estate to turn them into Airbnbs. But what we're seeing now is that because prices have increased, the cost of borrowing has increased, and now buyers and these Airbnb owners have realized there's a lot of cost, a lot of hidden cost to Airbnbs. They're having to change out furniture and linens, or having to fix wallpaper. A lot of their forecasting was on unrealistic returns. Maybe they were looking at COVID numbers when everybody was traveling. You know, people were okay living out of their normal areas and staying in Airbnbs for extended period of times. People don't live in Airbnbs 30 days out of a 30-day month. An Airbnb may only be full for a quarter or a half of that time. So we just see this asset class having some more restrictions, some more laws around it. And there's also now an oversaturation in the marketplace where there's enough Airbnbs that prices have started to come down for overnight stays. So what we tell our clients, this is our pro tip, if you're looking to buy investment property, it's still a good time, but underwrite your deal based upon the annual return of that, not on Airbnb projected returns.
So just kind of more of a steady formula.
The tried and true is what we're getting back to. Exactly.
All right. The second kind of micro market prediction I see that you're making is that decline in condo pricing that you referenced before. So tell us about that.
So a lot of us remember the Surfside building collapse that took place, and there were some laws and changes that happened to how condos are going to operate going forward. Those laws took place last year, and the deadline to get condominiums into what they need to is by the end of 2024. So December 31st, 2024, every condominium in Florida has to fall in line. So there's 3 things that have to happen. Number 1, a condominium has to have a milestone report. This is a financial report to ensure they have enough reserves for the items that need to be repaired and taken care of in a condominium. The pool, the roof, the structure, things like that. And then the structural integrity report. The structural integrity report is an engineer firm coming in to talk about the overall integrity of the building and to help with that milestone report as well. So many condominiums who maybe were underfunded and therefore had under than average condominium fees, maintenance fees, are now having to make some pretty significant adjustments. So fees are going up, and due to these fees going up, you're seeing sellers who were on fixed incomes, or maybe they're like, hey, I just can't afford to live the lifestyle I once could, are now putting their condos on the market. So we're starting to see condominium prices pull down as there's more supply going on. So we're projecting a 1 to 3% pullback on condominiums because of that.
Well, that makes perfect sense to me. So, so this one's pretty interesting. So I'm just going to put it out there. You heard it here first, that you may be actually creating an entirely new term that we've never heard of before, because you're using a new word to describe something. You're calling it a bubblehood. So you're predicting that BUBBLEHOODS will see some price resets. So first, Chris, explain to us, what is a bubblehood?
So a bubblehood would be a neighborhood that had maybe high cost of living people who were coming from other areas come down to South Florida, and with the money they made when they sold their homes up north, they purchased and they really pushed the pricing up in a community that locals wouldn't pay the same price.
Okay.
And what's happened through that is now we're seeing that migration has slowed. Sometimes it stopped.
Right.
And now you have prices that really outpace the market for what that valuation should be for that community. And there's just an inbound income differential that can't be fixed.
Okay.
It can only be fixed by getting those prices back down to get buyers to move that inventory. So if a local wouldn't pay it and you don't have enough people coming from other areas,
okay,
you're in a bubblehood. That's where you are.
Okay, so that totally makes perfect sense to me now. And I really like this last prediction here. So I'm excited to land on a high note with you. You're predicting that 2024 will be the year of new construction.
I think there's going to be a banner over 2024 is new construction. In our area, we have a lot of new construction projects on the Treasure Coast and in Palm Beach as well. And what we're seeing is builders today are going to move inventory. And they're going to do that by incentivizing buyers through maybe design studio, certainly through buying rates down. If rates today are in the high 6s, we're seeing them buy them down in the 5s, the 4s. We're seeing temporary buy downs into the 2s. So they're making it very attractive, very affordable for buyers to come to them with that. And then with all new construction, we found that the supply chain issues that were kind of hampering their ability to get homes out of the ground have now been solved. So they're getting more homes out of the ground, which means there's more inventory to choose from. So it's an exciting time for new construction.
Got it.
We've been taking a lot of our buyers who were looking at resale and then comparing it against new construction and showing them that insurance costs are going to be less on new construction.
Okay.
They're low to no maintenance on that as well. And certainly just the quality of the construction, more modern features. So we truly believe that this year will be the year of new construction.
Wow, fantastic. So overall, you're predicting that 2024 will be better, a better year than 2023 was due to lower rates, more supply, making it a kind of a desirable buying environment because there's more shopping options and it's also more affordable. So, and then you add that new construction in the mix. I mean, that's pretty exciting. So I love all those things. Well, I really appreciate your expertise today and sharing what you think is going to happen in the market with these 7 predictions. And if you've been watching with us here, we just want to thank you for joining us. We have more details in the comments and in the email below. So thank you.